In this captivating story, witness the incredible journey of Amina, a kind-hearted young woman who overcomes the cruelty of her wicked stepmother to find true love with Prince Zubari. Despite being manipulated and forced into servitude, Amina's natural beauty and humility catch the prince's eye, leading to a series of shocking twists that change the fate of the kingdom forever. Watch as love, strength, and integrity triumph over deceit and power in this unforgettable tale of courage, resilience, and the ultimate battle for happiness. Will Amina rise above the cruelty and claim her rightful place by the prince's side? Or will the stepmother's evil plans succeed? Tune in to find out how this epic journey unfolds in a world where true love conquers all obstacles. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible stories that show the power of love and destiny. In a vibrant African kingdom filled with rich culture and colourful traditions, preparations for the kingdom's most anticipated event, the annual royal festival, are underway. This festival is a grand celebration of the monarchy, showcasing the wealth and power of the royal family, and it attracts people from every corner of the kingdom. The streets are lined with colourful banners, music fills the air, and everyone is eager to attend. This event is particularly important this year, as rumours swirl that Prince Zubari, the heir to the throne, will choose a bride. The excitement is palpable. At the heart of this kingdom is Amina, a beautiful and kind-hearted young woman. Her beauty isn't just in her looks, but in the way she treats others with warmth and kindness. Amina's life was once filled with happiness, raised in a loving family where her mother taught her the values of compassion and self-respect. However, tragedy struck when her mother passed away, and Amina's life changed forever. She was left at the mercy of her stepmother Naya, who was cunning and power-hungry. Nia's only goal in life is to secure power, and she will stop at nothing to see her daughter Taria marry into the royal family. Nia's cruelty knows no bounds. She forces Amina into servitude at home, keeping her busy with chores and chores alone. Amina is denied the opportunities that other girls her age enjoy: no social outings, no festivals, and certainly no hopes of meeting the prince. While her stepmother revels in her cruel control, Amina dreams of freedom. She longs for a life where she can choose her own path, live with dignity, and be recognized for her worth. Yet, trapped under the thumb of Nia, Amina is unsure of how to escape. Her world is confined to the four walls of her home, where every day feels like a struggle. But amidst the hardships, Amina remains hopeful. Her memories of her mother's teachings give her strength, and in her heart, she clings to the belief that someday, somehow, her life will change. As the royal festival draws closer, she wonders if fate has something in store for her, though she can't yet imagine how this dream might come true. Nia, consumed by her desire for power and position, hatches a wicked plan to sabotage Amina's chances of ever gaining the attention of Prince Zubari. Her strategy is simple but cruel. She will manipulate every opportunity to ensure that Amina never appears worthy of the prince's affections. Nia knows that the prince is a man of taste and refinement, someone who values not just beauty, but grace, dignity, and intelligence. Amina, despite her natural beauty, lacks the social polish that Nia believes is essential for royalty. So Nia begins to weave a web of deceit, working behind the scenes to ensure that Amina is always seen in a negative light. At every royal gathering, Nia secretly ensures that Amina appears unkempt, socially awkward, and unrefined. She arranges for her to wear outdated, plain dresses, leaving her hair tangled and her demeanor shy and hesitant. Whenever there is a royal event, Nia makes sure Amina is occupied with the most menial of tasks: cleaning, cooking, or anything that would keep her away from the prince's gaze. If Amina does somehow manage to slip through the cracks and attend, Nia ensures that she stumbles into the wrong conversations or embarrasses herself in some way, further cementing her image as unfit for royalty. Amina feels the weight of her stepmother's cruelty more deeply with each passing day. She sees the opportunities slipping away and feels powerless to change her situation. The royal festival is approaching, and for the first time in a long while, Amina dares to dream of being part of the grand celebration. But deep down, she knows that her stepmother's plans are already in motion to make sure she is kept away from the prince. Despite the heavy burden of her stepmother's manipulation, Amina remains determined to hold on to hope. She often finds herself wandering the royal gardens, a space she cherishes for its beauty and quiet solitude. It is here, amidst the flowers and the soft rustling of leaves, that Amina reflects on the lessons her mother once taught her. She remembers how her mother used to say that true beauty comes from within, that kindness and strength were what truly mattered. These memories bring her comfort, and she clings to the hope that someday someone will see her for who she truly is, someone beyond the image that Nia has crafted for her. As she walks through the gardens, Amina wonders about Prince Zubari, who, she has heard, is a man of great charm and regality. She has heard stories of his wisdom, his leadership, and his compassion. The rumors about him have only fueled her curiosity, and though she has never met him, she secretly wonders what it would be like to be seen by someone like him. Would he be able to look past the lies and the false image her stepmother has built around her? Would he be able to see her heart as her mother once did? Meanwhile, Prince Zubari, the heir to the throne, is growing weary of the endless parade of royal candidates for his affections. He has been told time and again that he must choose a bride from the noble families, a woman who can carry herself with grace and poise, who can meet the high expectations of his position. He has met countless women, but none of them have captured his heart. They are all beautiful, yes, but there is something missing, substance, a deeper connection, something that will make him feel the kind of love his parents share. Zubari has heard the whispers of Amina, the beautiful daughter of the late noblewoman, but he has never met her in person. Some say she's shy, others say she's too humble for royal life. But there's an air of mystery about her that intrigues him. Prince Zubari is curious, but the political pressure to find the right woman weighs heavily on him. He knows that his marriage is not just about love, it's about strengthening alliances and ensuring the future of the kingdom. Still, the rumors of Amina's kindness and inner beauty call to him, and he finds himself wondering if perhaps this girl, who remains out of reach, might be the one who could make him feel something more than duty. The thought lingers in his mind, but he is unsure whether he will ever truly meet her, especially with the strict demands of his royal obligations. Unbeknownst to both of them, fate is slowly weaving its threads, and the time for them to cross paths is drawing nearer. However, as Amina's stepmother continues to work behind the scenes, the prince's heart remains uncertain, and the stakes continue to rise for everyone involved. The royal festival is the most anticipated event in the kingdom, a dazzling display of the grandeur and opulence of the monarchy. As the entire kingdom gathers in high spirits, the streets are alive with music, colourful decorations, and the scent of exotic foods. The palace is aglow with lights, and the air is filled with laughter and excitement. The people, from noble families to common folk, have gathered to celebrate the prosperity of their kingdom. It's a time of joy, a moment for everyone to come together and forget their troubles. For Prince Zubari, however, the festival is more than just a celebration. As the heir to the throne, he knows this event is a significant moment in his life. The expectations weigh heavily on him. He must choose a bride who not only fits the image of royalty, but also possesses the qualities needed to rule beside him. As the festivities unfold, he is introduced to numerous young women, each more beautiful and refined than the last. Yet none of them seem to capture his attention. He attends the grand dances, smiles for the courtiers, and exchanges pleasantries with the nobility. But in the back of his mind, he wonders if this night will lead him closer to finding someone who will truly stand by his side. It is at this festival that Nia, Amina's stepmother, sees her opportunity to further drive a wedge between Amina and the prince. Knowing that Amina might show up despite her best efforts to keep her confined, Nia whispers in Prince Zubari's ear, offering her helpful insight. She speaks of Amina's flaws, emphasizing how unpolished and unfit Amina is for royalty. With a voice dripping in false sweetness, Nia tells the prince that Amina has been raised in humble circumstances and has little understanding of the social graces expected in royal circles. She subtly plants the seed that Amina, with her simple nature, would never be able to carry herself with the elegance and refinement required of someone of royal blood. Prince Zubari listens politely, though a part of him wonders if there is more to Amina than her stepmother's words suggest. As the evening progresses and the celebrations continue, Amina makes the bold decision to attend the royal festival, despite knowing that her stepmother will be furious. She refuses to let Nia control her life any longer. With a quiet resolve, Amina dons a simple, yet elegant gown that allows her natural beauty to shine through. The dress is not grand or adorned with jewels, but it fits her perfectly, its soft fabric flowing gracefully as she moves. She wears no extravagant accessories or makeup. Her beauty is untouched and pure, and it's her humble presence that sets her apart from the other women at the festival. Amina steps into the festival, her heart filled with nervous excitement. She feels the weight of every gaze upon her as she enters the palace grounds. The other women are dressed in intricate, expensive gowns, their faces painted with makeup and their jewelry sparkling under the lantern lights. But Amina, with her natural elegance and quiet grace, holds her own among them. She glides through the crowd, her head held high despite the whispers that follow her wherever she goes. As she walks through the crowd, her eyes meet Prince Zubari across the room. He is immediately captivated by her, drawn to her in a way he cannot explain. She is unlike any woman he has ever seen. Her beauty is understated but undeniable. Her movements are effortless, and her simplicity is a stark contrast to the ostentatious display of wealth and power surrounding her. Amina doesn't need grandiose gestures or layers of jewelry to stand out. She radiates an inner warmth and kindness that attracts him more than anything he has seen in the other women. The prince's curiosity is piqued, and he feels an undeniable pull towards her. Without thinking, he walks through the crowd, pushing aside nobles and courtiers until he is standing before Amina. She is taken aback at first, unsure of why the prince has approached her, but his smile reassures her. He introduces himself with his characteristic charm, and for a moment, the noise of the festival fades into the background. They are alone in their conversation, their exchange private in a sea of people. Amina, though nervous, feels an immediate connection with the prince. Her humility and grace shine through as she speaks to him with genuine kindness, something she has never been able to hide. She is not trying to impress him or win his favor, but simply being herself, a woman who has spent years caring for others and longing for a better life. As she speaks, she doesn't notice how Zubari is hanging on to every word, mesmerized by the way she speaks with such honesty and warmth. She is unlike anyone he has met in his royal circles, unpretentious and pure, not looking for a title or position, but simply enjoying the moment. During their brief conversation, Amina tells him about her love for the kingdom's traditions, the royal gardens, and the simple beauty of life that is often overlooked. She speaks of the teachings her mother instilled in her, the values of kindness, integrity, and self-worth. The prince listens intently, realizing that there is something extraordinary about this woman. She speaks not from a place of ambition or desire for power, but from a deep-rooted understanding of what truly matters in life. Zubari is struck by Amina's humility, and for the first time in a long while, he feels a stirring in his heart. Her words resonate with him, and he finds himself wanting to know more. She is unlike the women he has been surrounded by his entire life, women who have been groomed for the throne. women who know how to navigate the complexities of court politics and power. Amina, on the other hand, speaks from the heart, and it is this authenticity that captures Zubari's attention. As they part ways, Prince Zubari cannot shake the feeling that he has just met someone extraordinary. He is left wondering if the woman who has so effortlessly captivated his heart is truly as simple and unrefined as others have made her out to be. And in the depths of his heart, a question lingers: could she be the one? Nia's schemes are far from over. Despite the growing connection between Amina and Prince Zubari, the wicked stepmother is determined to see her own daughter, Taria, wed the prince and secure her family's place in the royal court. She understands the gravity of the situation. If she cannot destroy Amina's chance with the prince, her own daughter's future is in jeopardy. With the festival behind them, Nia becomes more cunning in her attempts to ruin Amina's reputation. She spreads lies, half-truths, and rumors with a careful precision, each one designed to turn Zubari's growing affection away from Amina. Nia whispers in the prince's ear during every court gathering, weaving stories about Amina's supposed faults. She suggests that Amina's humble nature masks an inferiority complex, that she lacks the poise and intelligence required for a royal life. Nia's words drip with honeyed venom, designed to make Zubari doubt his own feelings and question the purity of Amina's intentions. Despite Nia's best efforts, Amina's connection with the prince deepens with each passing day. Every time they cross paths, there is an undeniable pull between them. Amina's natural grace, her kindness, and the quiet strength she carries have begun to seep into Zubari's heart, breaking down the walls that had been carefully built around it. He has started to notice that the woman he is falling for is not at all the person Nia and others have painted her to be. One evening, as Zubari and Amina sit together in the royal gardens, the prince looks at her with new eyes. The simple way she laughs, the softness of her voice, the way she speaks of the beauty of the kingdom, he realizes that Amina is genuine in every way. There are no pretenses with her, no hidden agenda. She speaks only the truth. And for the first time in his life, Zubari feels as though he is meeting someone who does not want anything from him other than to know the real him. As they talk, Zubari confides in Amina, expressing the pressure he feels from his family to choose a wife who will help him lead the kingdom. Amina listens intently, her heart breaking for him as she hears the weight of his burden. He speaks of the expectations placed upon him by his royal blood and the duty he feels to honor his family's wishes. He talks about his engagement to Taria, whom he has known all his life, but with whom he feels no true connection. Zubari admits that while Taria is beautiful and well-mannered, he has never felt the spark of affection for her that he now feels for Amina. Amina's heart races as she listens to his confession. She wants to tell him how she feels, to admit that she too has started to fall for him. But she remains silent, knowing that their worlds are so different and that their love is forbidden. She is not of royal blood, and the prince is expected to marry a woman of noble lineage. She fears that any attempt to tell him how she feels will only drive a wedge between them. Yet, deep inside, she longs for a future where they can be together without the constraints of their titles and duties. As the days pass, Zubari finds himself increasingly torn. His duty to his family and kingdom weighs heavily on him, but so does his growing affection for Amina. He knows that if he follows his heart, he risks defying his family's expectations and upsetting the balance of power in the royal court. He has been promised to Taria, and breaking off their engagement would cause a scandal. But the more he thinks about Amina, the more he realizes that he cannot ignore his feelings for her. At the same time, Zubari begins to notice the cracks in his engagement to Taria. While Taria is beautiful and well-bred, he cannot deny the lack of emotional connection between them. She is more interested in the royal title than in Zubari himself, and their conversations often revolve around appearances, status, and the political advantages of their marriage. There is no warmth between them, no genuine affection or understanding. In contrast, Amina brings out the best in him. With her he feels seen and heard, not as a prince, but as a man. The realization that he is growing more distant from Taria only makes him feel more conflicted about his future. Zubari's dilemma becomes even more pressing as Nia ramps up her manipulations. She continues to sow distrust and suspicion in the prince's mind, filling his ears with stories of Aminas' supposed unworthiness. Nia's words weigh heavily on Zubari, and he begins to doubt whether he can trust his own heart. The pressure from his family to marry Taria grows stronger, and he feels the weight of their expectations bearing down on him. But despite all of this, Zubari cannot escape the pull of his feelings for Amina. Every time they are together, he feels an undeniable connection, and every time he is apart from her, he finds himself thinking about her. It becomes clear to him that his heart belongs to Amina, and he must find a way to reconcile his love for her with the expectations placed upon him as the heir to the throne. As the tension builds, Zubari's internal struggle becomes more pronounced. He is torn between the woman he is supposed to marry and the woman he truly loves. His loyalty to his family and his duty to the kingdom clash with his growing desire for Amina, and he knows that whatever decision he makes will have far-reaching consequences for both his personal happiness and the future of the kingdom. The path forward is uncertain, but one thing is clear. Zubari's heart is no longer in the hands of his family's plans. It belongs to Amina. The truth always has a way of coming to light, no matter how well it is hidden. In this case, Zubari's heart is both heavy and relieved as the veils of deception finally fall away, exposing the true nature of those around him. It begins one evening when Zubari, weary of the lies and manipulations that have surrounded him for so long, decides to confront Nia directly. For days, he has been reflecting on his feelings for Amina and the weight of Nia's constant interference in their budding relationship. He can no longer ignore the signs, the way she has relentlessly disparaged Amina, the way she has worked tirelessly to push him toward Taria, her own daughter. Determined to uncover the full truth, Zubari seeks out Nia, and as he stands before her in the Grand Royal Palace, the confrontation is inevitable. The air is thick with tension as he speaks, his voice firm and commanding, yet laced with frustration. "Nia, I've heard enough of your whispers," Zubari begins. "You've lied to me, manipulated me, all in the name of keeping me away from Amina and pushing your own daughter toward me. But no more. Tell me why you've done this. Why have you worked so hard to ruin the connection I've shared with Amina?" Nia, caught off guard, attempts to mask her fear with feigned calmness. She plays the role of the concerned stepmother, masking her true intentions behind a veneer of falsehoods. But Zubari can see through her act. He watches as her eyes dart nervously, a guilty silence falling between them. For a moment she hesitates, knowing full well that the truth will soon be revealed. Then, with a flicker of defeat in her eyes, she speaks. "You are a prince, Zubari. You don't understand the weight of your position. My intentions were never to harm you or your future, but rather to secure the best for our kingdom. Taria is a suitable match. She is from noble blood, and her marriage to you would ensure the prosperity of the realm. Amina." Nia's voice falters, but she quickly regains control. "Amina was never meant for you. She's beneath you. I've done what I had to do to protect the future of our kingdom and the future of our family." Zubari's heart races as he listens to Nia's words. The truth of her manipulations cuts deeper than he expected. He can no longer deny the depth of the deception, nor can he ignore the cruelty that has been directed at Amina. The woman he has come to love has been the victim of Nia's schemes all along, and now, in this moment, Zubari understands just how far Nia was willing to go to secure her own ambitions. As the realization settles in, Zubari feels a profound sense of anger toward Nia. His own confusion and doubt, which she had so expertly cultivated in him, now seem foolish. The lies he once believed are now exposed for what they were. Tactics designed to manipulate him into following a path that was never meant to be his. He had been played, but no more. Without another word to Nia, Zubari turns and walks away, his mind made up. He must find Amina and hear the truth from her, for it is she who has always been honest with him, even in the face of Nia's relentless cruelty. Amina, in the meantime, has been quietly enduring the weight of her stepmother's actions. Her once submissive nature has given way to a quiet strength, a strength that has been nurtured by the love she has for Zubari and the cruel treatment she has endured at Nia's hands. She has reached her breaking point and no longer wishes to hide in the shadows of her stepmother's manipulation. Zubari's confrontation with Nia does not take her by surprise. She has seen the prince's growing doubts and suspicions. But what surprises her is how strong she has become in the face of it all. As Zubari finds her, alone in the royal gardens where they often meet, Amina feels a mix of emotions welling up inside her. She has feared this day for so long, the day when Zubari would discover the truth about her stepmother's cruelty. But now, she no longer feels afraid. She is ready to stand tall and face whatever comes next. Amina, Zubari calls softly as he approaches her. I need to hear the truth from you. Nia has confessed her actions to me. She told me what she's done, and I see it now, all of it. But I want to hear it from you. I need to know everything. Amina takes a deep breath, her heart racing. She has never been one to expose her pain so openly, but now she knows there is no other way. She steps forward, her voice steady, but filled with the raw emotion she's been hiding for so long. My mother raised me to be strong, Amina begins. But when she passed, I was left with no protection but the kindness of others. Nia, she was never kind. She forced me into servitude, making me feel small, unworthy of anything better. She wanted me to remain hidden, to never rise above my station. But I had dreams, Zubari, dreams of something more. And then, when you came into my life, I thought maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for me. But I never wanted to cause trouble. I never wanted to stand between you and your duty. Zubari listens intently, his heart swelling with admiration for her courage. He had known she was special, but hearing her speak with such honesty and strength only makes him love her more. He knows now, without a doubt, that she is the woman he has been searching for all along. The woman who speaks with her heart, not her ambition. I know it must be hard for you to believe, Amina continues. But I've never been interested in wealth or status. All I've ever wanted is to be free, to live without fear. And the one thing I never expected was for you to look at me and see something worth loving. Zubari reaches for her hands, his eyes filled with warmth and affection. Amina, I've been a fool. I let my duty and my family's expectations cloud my heart. But now I see clearly. I see the truth, and I know where my heart lies. It lies with you. The world around them fades into the background as Zubari pulls Amina into a tender embrace. The weight of the royal responsibilities that once felt so heavy on his shoulders no longer seems as important. All that matters is the woman in his arms, the woman who has shown him the meaning of true love and loyalty. In that moment, Zubari makes a decision that will change everything. He will not let his family's expectations dictate his future. He will not marry Taria, not because she isn't a good woman, but because his heart belongs to Amina. He turns to her, his voice filled with conviction. I will end my engagement to Taria, Zubari declares, and I will publicly declare my love for you, Amina. No more lies, no more deceit, only truth and a future together. Amina's heart soars as she hears Zubari's words. It feels as though a great weight has been lifted from her chest. For the first time in her life, she feels truly seen, truly loved. She is no longer a victim of her stepmother's cruelty. She is no longer the humble servant. She is a woman who has earned the prince's love, and together they will face the future, whatever it may bring. As they stand in the moonlit garden, their hearts intertwined, the world outside seems to fade away. In this moment, there is only them, Amina and Zubari, bound by truth, love, and the promise of a future they will build together. The grand feast was in full swing, with the royal palace buzzing with excitement. The finest food and drink flowed freely, and the air was alive with laughter, music, and the swirling of vibrant colours as the kingdom's elite gathered to celebrate the royal festival. But beneath the surface of the celebration, there was an undercurrent of tension, for this evening would mark a turning point in the kingdom's history. As the evening wore on, Zubari took his place at the head of the grand table, his regal presence commanding the attention of everyone in the room. He had been the centre of attention all evening, but tonight his eyes were fixed on only one person, Amina. She sat a few seats away, her beauty understated but undeniable, radiating strength and dignity in the face of everything she had endured. Zubari had made his decision, and now it was time to announce it. The time for secrets was over. His love for Amina had grown stronger with each passing day, and he could no longer hide it. This moment would be the one to change their lives forever. Clearing his throat, Zubari stood up, his voice carrying over the hum of conversation. The room fell silent as all eyes turned toward him. For a moment, he stood there, his gaze lingering on Amina. Then, with a deep breath, he spoke. "My people," Zubari began, his voice unwavering. "Tonight I stand before you to make a choice that will determine the future of our kingdom. I've spent much of my life listening to the voices around me, to the expectations placed upon me. But I have come to realize that the future of this kingdom is not determined by tradition alone. It is determined by the heart." He paused, his gaze shifting from the gathered nobles to the woman who had captured his heart. "The woman who stands before me is not the one I was told to choose," he continued, his words ringing with truth. "But she is the one I choose to stand by my side, to be my queen. Amina, you are the woman who has shown me what true love, strength, and integrity mean, and it is you who I will marry." Gasps rippled through the room as the announcement sank in. Whispers spread like wildfire, and the shock was palpable. But for Zubari and Amina, nothing else in the world mattered. In that moment, they were united by the power of truth and love, and nothing could break that bond. As the weight of his words settled, Zubari turned to face his family. His parents, the king and queen, watched with a mix of surprise and dismay. Taria, who had been waiting for this moment to be crowned the future queen, looked on in stunned silence. The royal advisors and nobles exchanged uneasy glances, unsure of how to react, but none of them mattered, not anymore. The room remained frozen in shock for a long moment, until Nia, her face flushed with anger, rose to her feet. The woman who had orchestrated the entire scheme to keep Zubari away from Amina was now undone. Her lies had been exposed, her manipulations revealed for all to see. She had failed, and in doing so, had sealed her own fate. Nia's voice was sharp, her words laced with venom. "This is madness. You choose her over my daughter," she hissed, her eyes flashing with fury. "You know nothing about her. She is beneath you, Zubari. This is a disgrace to our family and our kingdom." But Zubari stood tall, unwavering in his conviction. "No, Nia. You are the disgrace. You've lied, you've deceived, and you've manipulated the truth for your own selfish gain. You've tried to tear apart what was meant to be, and now the consequences are yours to face." The room erupted into murmurs of disbelief as the truth of Nia's actions came to light. The king and queen exchanged looks, their disappointment evident. The royal family could no longer ignore the damage Nia had caused. Her deceitful ways had put the entire kingdom at risk, and now she would face the consequences of her actions. With a heavy heart, the king stood and addressed the assembly. "Nia, for your manipulations, for your dishonesty, and for your betrayal of our trust, you are hereby disowned from this family." You have no place in our kingdom any longer. The blow was swift and final. Nia, who had once been the woman in control, now stood alone, her plan crumbling around her. The kingdom's respect for her vanished in an instant, and she was escorted from the palace, her fate sealed by her own wickedness. As Nia was led away, the focus of the room shifted back to Amina. The murmurs of disbelief slowly gave way to admiration and respect. The kingdom, once skeptical of Aminas' worth, now saw her for who she truly was, a woman of grace, strength, and integrity. She had weathered the storm of her stepmother's cruelty and had emerged victorious, not just in her heart, but in the eyes of the entire kingdom. Aminas' eyes met Zubari's, and in that moment, all the struggles, the pain, and the heartache of the past seemed to fade away. She had risen above the lies, the manipulation, and the cruelty of her past. And now, she stood as the true love of the prince, her strength and purity shining brighter than any crown could. As the kingdom celebrated, Zubari took Amina's hand, his heart full of love and gratitude. He had chosen her, and in doing so had chosen the future he had always dreamed of, one filled with love, truth, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The kingdom rejoiced in the victory of the true love that had triumphed over deceit. Amina, the humble and kind-hearted woman who had once been forced into servitude, was now the princess, beloved by the people and the prince. Together, they would rule with compassion and wisdom, their hearts forever intertwined. And so, as the royal feast continued, the future of the kingdom was sealed, not by royal bloodlines or ambitious plots, but by the unbreakable bond of love and integrity. The stepmother's wicked plans had backfired, and Amina had emerged as the true queen, ready to take her place by the prince's side. The kingdom, once clouded with deceit and cruelty, now basked in the warmth of true love and justice. Amina and Zubari's wedding was the most magnificent event the land had ever witnessed, a celebration not just of their union, but of a new beginning for the entire kingdom. The royal palace, adorned in the richest silks and flowers, shimmered with joy, its halls echoing with laughter and music. The streets were filled with people, their faces beaming with pride as they cheered for their future queen. As Amina walked down the aisle, the soft whispers of her journey, of the suffering she had endured and the triumph she had achieved, seemed to melt away. She was no longer the girl forced into servitude under a wicked stepmother's rule. She was the woman who had found love in the purest form, a woman who had proven that integrity, kindness, and strength could overcome even the darkest of forces. Zubari, waiting at the altar, gazed at her with a love so deep it shone in his eyes. There was no doubt in his heart. Amina was the woman he was always meant to be with. Together they had conquered adversity, and together they would build a kingdom founded on love, truth, and fairness. As they exchanged vows, the entire kingdom held its breath, knowing that this union would forever change their fate. After the ceremony, as the kingdom celebrated late into the night, Amina and Zubari shared a quiet moment together on the balcony of the royal palace. The stars above twinkled like diamonds, and the cool breeze carried the scent of blooming flowers from the royal gardens. Amina leaned against Zubari's side, feeling the weight of the journey that had brought them to this moment. She thought back to the days when she had felt lost, when her life seemed to be nothing more than a series of hardships. The cruelty of her stepmother, the loneliness she had suffered, and the constant battle to hold on to hope. All of it now felt like a distant memory. Standing there, with Zubari by her side, she knew that her journey had not been in vain. She had fought not just for her own happiness, but for the greater good of her kingdom. "I never imagined this," Amina whispered, her voice filled with wonder. "I never thought I could be standing here, at the heart of this kingdom with you." Zubari kissed her forehead softly. "You deserve everything, Amina. You've always been worthy of this love and more. You've shown us all that true strength is not in power or position, but in the heart." Amina smiled, her heart full. She knew now that love was not just about finding someone to share your life with. It was about being true to yourself, overcoming the darkness, and never giving up, no matter the odds. With Zubari at her side, Amina knew that the kingdom would flourish. Their love would guide them as they ruled with compassion, wisdom, and fairness, bringing peace and prosperity to all. Together, they would build a legacy that would last for generations, a legacy rooted in the belief that love, kindness, and justice would always prevail. As the sun set on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and purple, Amina and Zubari stood hand in hand, ready to embrace the future. The kingdom was theirs to lead, and with love as their foundation, they would face whatever challenges came their way, confident that together they could conquer anything. And so, they lived happily ever after, their love a beacon of hope for all, a reminder that no evil could ever truly triumph over goodness, and that true love could indeed conquer all.